that dude.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
What day
You
is
pull
it?
that up and I'll do the intro. The 23rd.
It's already up. Let's hit Dollar Shave Club.
We are live? We are live on the Book of Faces. I'm kidding. We're not. We're live on the U's of Tubes. A lot of people ask us why we don't go live on Facebook. Let's be honest. They don't monetize.
Yeah. Well, they can, but not. We would have to bleep out 85% of the show.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
The new world of beep or duck noises. I watch, and I know I'm guilty of this. I watch some of Logan Paul's shit. And there's duck quacks that quack out when he says the word fuck. Even more surprising was seeing him on Fox Business yesterday.
Seeing him on Fox.
Oh,
Business.
yeah. For about a good half hour. That went viral last night where he said he was the fastest internet person on the planet and how he had pink eye and he was worried about. I mean, it was a fuck all of an interview.
He was worried about pink eye affecting his ability to run.
In his ability to be in the studio. It seemed like a massive troll job. Either way, it was effective. 19.5 million subscribers that has. That's why we're going live on YouTube. We're trying to boost our subscribers on YouTube. Couple things at the top here.
Yeah, as you could see, we were back on the old channel.
Back on the old channel.
Doing a little reorganization.
We are.
Like Rogan style, put the clips on the other channel and keep all the main stuff on this one for
Correct.
a lot of different reasons.
Yes, and we'll be combining Drinkin Bros podcast, Ross Patterson Revolution, and bringing in some other ones.
Yep. There's a lot of new shows that are about to start too. So
yeah, so we're amped about that, and also the prodigal son has returned.
yes.
Jared Taylor, back in action.
Yeah.
Where he needs to be.
Yeah, he belongs here amongst his brethren, and I don't mean your dick balls.
Yeah,
and
my
chains.
dick and balls. My whole package is called my brethren. My brethren. Excited to have him back. Look, he is Drinkin Bros. He's the president of Drinkin Bros.
He is
for Christ's sake.
literally the president. Of
Literally
Drinkin'
the
Bros,
president of
so.
Drinkin Bros.
Although we are going to have an
necessary.
election at some point.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, for 2020, he's got to go against somebody in 2020.
This is practice really for his actual presidential run in 2020.
Yes,
so
it is.
We're going to have an internal Drinkin' Bros election where he can practice his smear campaign techniques and things like that.
Yep.
That's what's really important, I think, is how much shit he's talking on a regular basis to like you saw the video that he had the Marine rapper make.
Oh, yeah.
TMR.
Against Jack Mandeville.
Yeah, so Jack Mandeville just got lit the fuck up. And for those of you out there that pay attention to that sort of stuff, Jack has a response video coming out in a couple days. And Jack is an absolute madman. He's one of the craziest human beings I've ever met in my life.
One of the best.
Like dark humor to he's one of the best at that shit. So I can't wait to see what this is.
Yeah, I can't either. And as always, starting 2 weeks ago, we started this. We're going to do all the sports shows, Drinkin Bros Sports, which is hosted by D'Anthony Holloway, and myself, live on motherfucking YouTube.
Yeah, and
so if you're wondering where the rest of everybody else is, this is the sports show. D'Anthony and I host this.
Yeah.
We'll be doing spreads every single week if you're new to it. And
we'll have Justin on to talk about fights.
correct.
Once we have the tech set up, and then we have a special surprise with Jared and some action sports stuff that'll be coming in a month or two.
Correct.
So keep your eye out for that shit.
Yeah,
too.
so we signed another deal with mybookie.com, which is our sponsor. They're putting a private URL up for all of us in the Drinkin Bros. That'll be live next month. And as always, when we go live, we will answer your questions on YouTube after the show is over.
Yep.
Right now, D'Anthony, this is the longest week in sports.
It is, but there's things to look forward to.
Is there?
Like next week.
Yeah. Strangulation.
Yeah.
This is the week where you're masturbating as hard as you can just to get through it. You're whipping the wheel, kind of flicking your wrist over into ongoing traffic just to feel alive again, because this is the dead week.
That reminds me of one of my favorite Bill Burr jokes. He's talking about driving and like how just a few degrees to the right when he's driving is the difference between just making it home and then being on the news.
Yeah, and it is.
Sometimes you feel like that. You really do.
And that's what this feels like in sports this week,
Yeah.
where, look, it's hot as fuck. There's a heat wave across the nation. At this point, we're in the mid-season for MLB. And we love baseball as much as everybody else, and we're going to go over some trade deadline stuff in here in a minute. But football
that's
is just on the horizon. Yeah. Football is on the horizon, and we're almost there. We're 7 days away. The first NFL preseason game is always the Hall of Fame game.
Yep. And the Falcons are playing in that, right?
Correct.
Who are they playing?
Who knows? I'm just happy the football's on at that point. I don't give a shit. If it was Jacksonville versus fucking Carolina, I would throw that game on and watch the whole goddamn thing with pride, because that's how much I hate this week in between.
I wonder if there are junkies out there who are watching like the CFL.
Wait, not only is there junkies watching the CFL, there's junkies out there who will actually bet on the first preseason game. So last year when we started the sports show, I got hit up of like, hey, who are you taking in the NFL preseason game? I don't know, man.
Do guys actually play hard in that game?
No, Matt Ryan and the Falcons, they'll take one snap, they'll play the first series, and that's it. They're out of there. Last year, the starters didn't even sniff the field. I mean, I think they were wearing T-shirts.
What do you think about this plan that the NFL is proposing to make the season 18 games and cut some preseason games?
I think 18's a lot. I would like to see the preseason games cut in half. I realize why they do it, to try to pare down a 53-man roster.
Yeah. How much money do they make from the preseason too?
Not a lot, but it's enough to keep the lights on and pay their employees and parking and all that other shit. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I mean, most of these stadiums, if you haven't been to a preseason game, are a quarter full, maybe half full. Mm-hmm. You're not going out for the preseason spending all your hard-earned cash on that, because the tickets aren't that much cheaper.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been to an NFL game in a while, NFL tickets are fucking expensive, man.
I mean, it's like you're not getting non-nosebleed seats for less than like $1.30, $1.50, something like that in most stadiums these days.
And a family of four taking if I'm a family of four, which I am, that I know of, I don't know if I have any other kids out there, to take them to a game and spend that kind of money, it's not going to be on preseason bullshit.
No, it's $500 for you. Minimum to do that game.
Minimum.
Family, yeah.
Now, granted, and this is my home team and my homer team, the Atlanta Falcons, and they're the only ones I know in the NFL who does this. They have a deal for families on sodas, beers, all that stuff, where it's really cheap. I think you were with me last time, or perhaps my wife was. Either way, I consider you my second wife.
We were there at the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Maybe it was then.
Yeah.
With your mom and
but
dad.
all the booze and all the food and all that stuff is half price against other stadiums. And the owner, Arthur Blank, made a point of that just to make it affordable for families, because these ticket prices are jacked up through the roof.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine them going too much higher than what they are now. With the NFL having 16 games, you can at least justify that as a family, saying, all right, I can do this once out of the year, right? I can do this once out of the year, take my family, and it's an all-day thing, and we're going to make a day out of it.
Yeah.
You can't do that for an NBA season, to me personally, where you have 82 games, or an MLB season where you have 162 games, making people pay like this. But I'm for it. I would like to see 2 preseason games eliminated. If that means 2 extra games, great. I don't feel confident that the players could get through these seasons without injury. Their salaries should definitely increase if that's the case. Because your average lifespan as an NFL player is barely 3 years.
Yeah, it's like 2.8 years.
So either make their contracts guaranteed, or keep it at 16 and get rid of the other 2 preseasons.
I think if you did that, if you go to 18, you're going to start seeing teams sit players at the end of the year for sure. I mean, they do it to some degree now, but they're definitely going to do it if there's 18 games.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're up 3 games and there's 2 games left, who gives a shit about having a 17-1 season versus a 15-3 season? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're not going to care. They're just going to sit people. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And this is the other point in the season where ESPN and other sports shows like ourselves, you're stretching for info. You're trying to get some info here for this last week, because the MLB trade deadline here is coming up July 31st. So we're close. We're close on that. A lot of our favorite teams, a lot of World Series teams are trying to get that one last player to put them over the top, if you will. Starting pitching is at a premium during this point in the year.
Yeah, but I don't think there's really that many guys that are good that are available.
I don't either, and I want to go over that with you. Who is number one on the top of your list that is out there, Major League Baseball-wise, starting pitching-wise, that you think could be on the trading block or could be out there? A week ago, we said Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the Giants have been on a hot streak all of July. I don't know if that deal goes through.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. Look, the top two that are quote unquote available are Madison Bumgarner and Trevor Bauer from the Indians, but they're both within 2 or 3 games of the wild card right now.
Correct.
I think Cleveland's actually leading the wild card in the AL right now.
I believe they're up by a game or two.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be a great idea to do either one of those. So going down the rest of the list, the most likely to get moved, I think, Marcus Stroman from the Blue Jays.
He still has a year left on his deal, so
Yeah.
that'll
be a rental, so you're not going to get a huge payback for them. But from their perspective, he's had a pretty good career so far, and he's still kind of young.
absolutely. And his deal isn't terrible.
No, his deal's not
so
terrible.
taking on that money's fine.
Yeah, I think somebody will pick him up, and they'll probably lose a couple of minor years, but it won't be like trade rape or anything like that. And then Mike Minor and Zach Wheeler, my number 2 and 3.
Now, Mike Minor here, this one's the most interesting to me because if I'm a team that's not only trying to push myself over the hump and get to the World Series and get deep into the playoffs, I want a young guy like this who's got a friendly contract because he just signed a 3-year, $28 million contract right before the season started.
Yeah.
He's extremely pissed off right now because he said, I feel like I signed this contract just so they could trade me because this is all I've been dealing with is trade rumors ever since I signed my fucking deal. This guy's got, like, he owns a WAR that's already ranked as one of the 5 best seasons by a Rangers starting pitcher in franchise history.
Yeah, he's at 6 games above replacement right now.
And he
That's
can't
great.
believe why he's on the trading block, and I agreed with him.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's because they don't think they're going to be competitive for the next 2 years, and they can get a guy that's a legit, like, top prospect in double or triple A right now that'll be more impactful in 2 to 3 years than he will be in 2 to 3 years. That's what they're thinking.
I think they can get more than that. I think they can get maybe 2 or 3 and maybe a draft pick simply
I would
because
say
this
2 or 3,
contract. This contract at 3 years, $28 million is a fucking joke for how great this guy has been.
I mean, honestly, a team like the Rangers who don't have a huge salary right now could probably trade him, pay his salary still, and get like 5 legit prospects.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Yeah, this is one of the bigger ones to me. I'd look for a team like the Braves to try to pick him up. I think they need one more starting pitcher.
I don't know. They've gotten, if Max Fried comes back and he doesn't have blister, he's just got a blister on his hand. That's why he's on the DL. He doesn't have any serious trouble. And Nolan Ryan actually used to dip, like he put his fingers in pickle brine when he on his days off when he was in the bullpen. He would just have his hand sitting in pickle brine to make his fingers tougher, which is weird. But
Moises Alou used to piss on his own hands.
Yeah. He did. That's legit.
That's
and like
true.
rub it together and shit.
Yeah.
But I think with Max Fried, Soroka, Tehran, and now Keuchel's pitching very well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 4 starters in the playoffs is pretty good. Although keep in mind that Mike Minor 2 years ago for the Royals when they had a very good season pitched in relief.
Yeah,
65 games, about 80 innings, but he had like a 2.55 ERA in relief, so he's a very versatile guy. I wouldn't mind picking up somebody like that.
And that helps in the in the postseason in particular because it's, hey man, let's say because you can't go 3 games. Obviously, you can't start 3 games, but you could throw him in. Exactly. Yeah. You could throw him in relief, and that would be a big help for
having a guy that's
innings.
a stretch reliever like that or that can start is super helpful because if one of your starters comes out and gets roughed up in the first 2 innings and it doesn't look like he has his stuff that day, you can be like, all right, just take the rest of the day off. We'll bring you back in 3 days. You'll start again, but we're going to let Mike finish this one out. It's helpful. I think they need a closer, though. And I don't really see, like, look, this, what's his name? Kirby Yates from the Padres.
Yeah.
He's having a great season, but he doesn't have, like, he's been waived from pretty much every team he's ever been on.
Yeah.
So, like,
this is his one good season. I wouldn't back the truck up for him.
No, but they're going to ask for a haul for him because he's having such a great season. And somebody like the Yankees will probably give it to him.
They've got Chapman. I think they're all right. Look, the Yankees could definitely use another starting pitcher. The Mets are rumored to be unloading possibly looking to deal Zach Wheeler, who's a free agent to be. So I think for sure he goes. I don't know where he goes to.
I don't know where he goes, and I don't know if you're going to pay a premium for a rental like that. He's 29, and he's not having a great season. He's like 4.7 ERA right now.
Yeah, and then there's a rumor that Thor, Noah is on the block for the Mets as well.
That would be a huge mistake for them to get rid of him.
I think it would be crazy, but if the Mets are trying to blow up this team and rebuild, the haul that they would get for him would be massive.
They'd get a lot,
so we'll see. Maybe with CC Sabathia retiring, maybe the Yankees pop in there, pop a little Pixies in there, and see what's going on.
I could see them going after Mike Minor because, like you said, he's got a very favorable contract, and for a team like them that overspends regularly, picking up a guy like him would offset a lot of that. Plus, he's 31. He's got several good years left.
Yeah, easily.
Just the way he pitches, he's kind of modeled himself after Tom Glavine in a lot of ways.
Right.
The way he picks the corners and then tries to surprise people with his fastball and shit like that. So he's going to last probably until his mid to late 30s. So you're going to get another good 4 or 5 years out of that guy.
Yeah.
For a team like the Yankees that's perpetually in contention, that's a good pickup, I think.
Yeah, as far as hitting wise, there's only a couple, sort of big names.
People that I would actually like. Pablo Sandoval's supposedly getting shopped. I wouldn't. There's no fucking way, dude.
Nope.
He's lazy. He's lazy. Fuck that. No way.
Yeah.
Todd Frazier's a guy because he plays such good defense.
And he's a gamer. Like Todd Frazier's a gritty guy who would be great to have on a postseason roster.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing him get shipped somewhere to a contender where he's got a shot to win.
Castellanos from Detroit is pretty good, but he's a DH, and I don't know what his defensive skills are. So that might be like an AL only kind of trade. And
that one's tough.
To be honest,
David Peralta is rumored to be out there,
Peralta.
and Adam Jones. Look, the Diamondbacks are trying to unload everybody at this point.
Would you pay for Adam Jones at this point?
No,
though?
I wouldn't. And it's worth a phone call to reach out and say, hey, could we get him at a deal? Because you don't want to pay for him at this point in his career. Maybe that guy would be a great DH for an AL team in the playoffs. But we'll see. Other than that, man, it's unsexy.
I'm hearing Zach Greinke might be available.
Greinke.
I don't know how many teams would be, because he's a guy that's had, and this isn't a slight against him, but he's had emotional issues in the past, and they fucked him up when he switched teams a couple times.
Yeah,
and I don't know if is that a big enough reason to not want to be there? You know what I mean? Or to not want to make a deal for a guy like, because that's a big risk.
It's a big risk. He's already played for a handful of teams already. What is that going to do to his psyche?
Yeah, and Arizona's they're 15.5 back in the West right now.
You blow up that team and start over. They started already with losing Goldschmidt and those guys before the season started. So,
but still, they're only 2 games out of the wild card.
I know.
Like the National League is fucking terrible this year.
It's weak.
Well, the Braves are fucking great, and
the Dodgers.
The Dodgers are great.
Braves, Dodgers, Cubs are head and shoulders above the rest in the Central, NL Central. But
they're only up a game and a half now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Cardinals are a game and a half back, and the fucking Brewers are 2 games back.
Look at that.
Yeah, it happens fast.
Look, I predicted all 3 would go to the playoffs. So both wild cards would come from that division, and I hope that sticks. In the AL, Yankees are still dominant, obviously. Houston Astros look great.
Tampa Bay they're pitching.
I don't know how Tampa Bay does it.
They can't score, and we'll see if their pitching keeps up. Like they're not exactly lighting it up when it comes to offense.
I lived in Tampa Bay for a year as a child. A lot of meth down there.
That's where our good friend Steve Duffy's from.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
And he's going to be at that house party in Orlando, by the way, guys. So Steve used to be the global partnerships.
He was our dude for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Now he's going to be with the Orlando Magic. Yeah. He's a great dude. Just had a kid, one of our good buddies. Fun to party with.
Yes.
His wife is actually fun to party with too. She's a woo girl.
Well, she's had a baby, so
like 4 or 5 drinks in, and I don't know if the baby's going to stop her from drinking, to be honest.
Well, we'll see.
4 or 5 drinks in, she's fist pumping and yelling woo and stuff.
I like that.
Very fun.
A woo girl.
Yeah.
Look, I hope there's no Kyles at that house party. Sign up for Drinkin' Bros podcast on Facebook. You can see all our live events. for the sports show, we'll be down in Orlando throwing a house party at a Drinkin' Bros house.
August 23rd.
August 23rd. August 24th, we'll be at Tactical Brewery down there in Orlando.
By the way, there's a Drinkin' Bro down there.
Yeah.
Who I think we're gonna meet up with. He's a good friend of. He's actually a Twitch partner with Amiri King.
Oh, really?
And I think Amiri King might be flying down to come to the house party with us.
That'd be great.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to have around. He's weird as shit. Very
Weird as
funny.
shit, really, really fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then we're debating about going to this Clemson game.
The Thursday after, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll go, yeah.
I guess they're against Georgia Tech. So we'll try to set that up and get you some details.
Yep.
Next up on the horizon is LSU, Texas. It looks like we'll be there for that game.
LSU, Texas, and then the following day, Cowboys, Giants.
Cowboys, Giants.
We'll hang out with Dero, the local rapper there. So if you're in the Dallas area, come hang out with us like we did last year for that thing. Hopefully there isn't another Dungeons and Dragons game going on in the middle of our fucking set. And also hopefully, what's his name? Fuck, I can't remember his name.
I love that craft brewery we were at.
Yeah, it was great.
We should do it there.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it there.
I enjoyed there. I
That was
enjoyed
great.
their beer. I enjoyed all of it. Cowboys fans.
Blake Leslie gave me a squirrel dick, and it's in my bag right now, as a matter of fact.
Blake Leslie is one of my favorite humans on the planet.
Yeah,
and he said he would help me hide a body as a Drinkin' Bro.
For sure, if there's a murderer in Drinkin' Bros and the 103,000 people that
are in the private
that are
Facebook
in
group.
there, he's the one that's probably murdered the most people, I would say.
Great. It's great.
Like straight murder, not war, but like straight murder.
Yeah.
Like Dexter style, hiding people in the marsh, because he like oversaw like 4,000 acres of federal land or some shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's seen it all then at that point.
There's all kinds of crazy shit going on with that.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pop out for LSU, Texas, and then that Cowboys Giants game.
And then we're going to go to Ohio State, Penn State,
Correct.
and Ohio. Then we'll be at the Browns game the next day against the Dolphins.
Yep. And then Army Navy.
We'll be at Army Navy. We'll be at God, what's the other one? There's another one I think we're locked in
I forget, but I know the Drinkin' Bros cruise. Speaking of which, the Drinkin' Bros cruise, there's been some slots open up with all the fuckery going on in Iran. We had about 90 people that got deployed.
Yeah.
And so some rooms have opened up, and Carnival Cruise has been nice enough to relist those. Go to drinkinbros.com and sign up for the cruise today. It's leaving September 12th out of Galveston, Texas, going down to Cozumel, Mexico. The whole gang will be there. And also some special guests on there. Asking Alexandria will be performing.
I think it's just Danny, but
yeah. Same.
And I don't know if he's going to be playing his metal shit or his blues shit. Either way,
man, he's great.
Yeah,
I did a live
shit.
show with him a few weeks ago.
Well, yeah,
Great guy.
if you've seen the like his solo work, that dude can fucking sing, dude.
He's amazing.
Like he just picks up an acoustic and
one of the
wails
most talented
like a
people on the
motherfucker.
planet,
Yeah,
for
I love
sure.
being around him. And then obviously Matt and Jared will play some of the old Lincoln's Box Seat songs.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Do you think you could do
We Are All Harambe?
We Are All Harambe, or at least the fucking Getting High Eating Cheddar Bay?
Oh yeah. Because
Red Lobster,
when we
motherfucker.
were on tour the year before, we did We Are All Harambe. We'll add that back into the mix for the new one. And then I know Jared and Matt are gonna sing their new one as well, but that'll be a blast.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
For what is it, 4 or 5 days on the cruise?
Yeah.
Like Jesus
So
Christ.
make sure you guys that are coming learn those songs so you can sing along.
Check your liver. Matt's book will be out by then, and he said if you buy it in a hardback, we'll sign it all on the cruise. Thank you for my services available on Amazon. Let's get to our sponsor, shall we? Put this whole shit wagon on the air. First and foremost is mybookie.com. Again, they're making a private URL for us. Last year was $100 all the way up to $3,000. They're doubling the deposits. I know this year they're hosting a huge, kind of like a winner take all. You get $1 million, I believe, at the end of the year. All you have to do is pick 5 spreads a week in the NFL, and your weekly tally carries over.
Yeah, and it's a points based thing.
Yep.
So basically, what we talked to my bookie last week.
Yeah,
what we're gonna do is, you'll all create your own individual usernames. You'll be in the giant pool together, and then you give us your name. We'll be able to track what your score is versus us. So you'll be playing directly against us for the whole season.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what, if we win that 100K, we're gonna do something fucking weird with it.
Oh yeah.
Something super weird.
Yeah.
Weirder than the fact that we own a Japanese sex doll weird.
Yeah.
So-
We'll go to another level. So as soon as that's all set up next week, we'll let you know the details because next week is we're actually doing a mock draft for fantasy football because that is just around the corner. That is our most wonderful time of the year. And again, to anybody out there, sign up for Drinkin' Bros Sports on Facebook. That's where we'll be dropping at noon Eastern Time, August 2nd. First come, first serve in the fantasy football leagues. Signed jerseys galore.
There's going to be 4 different posts. So make sure you fucking pay attention to what they say because one will be the Cutthroat Killers.
Cutthroat Killers League, you must have won 2 championships.
Yeah, one will be my league.
Yep.
And
One
then,
championship is the buy-in for that.
And then there will be 2
Underdogs leagues. And then there's always a Rejects League.
The Kalen Catrone League?
Yeah, so the Rejects League is everybody who was pissed off that they weren't available at noon and didn't get in or couldn't send the right fucking email address or answer it correctly. The winner of that always gets into the league the next year. And so we have our winner that's in this league next year. So we're super stoked about that. Next up, are we bringing Dollar Shave into the mix?
We are, yeah. We are indeed.
What's the URL for what do we got?
It's actually I got to find the URL. Hang on a
Yeah, I can tell you this though about Dollar Shave Club because we get sent some of the products from there. I hadn't tried Dollar Shave Club since they very, very first started, which is a long time
like
ago.
2007.
Yes,
yeah,
dead serious,
ago.
man.
Yeah,
and it was kind of new. The products were kind of they were all right. And so when they hit us up and they were like, "Hey, man, we want to be on the show," I was like, "Great, send us your products and let me see that they're cool enough for the audience." I was fucking blown away. I could not. It's an entirely different company now, man.
Yeah, so here's what I did. I only shave here and here, obviously.
Right.
I don't want a neck. You don't want to have a neck beard, by the way, because no
one likes the neck beard.
No one likes that.
Women.
Yeah. So, Alec, stop looking me in the eyes. So, I went out and bought Gillette shit. Like the shit, it's like $28 goddamn dollars for 4 razor blades.
Right.
And then compared the two, like literally sat there and compared the two.
Yeah.
And they're identical now. Like their quality, their shit, like you can feel it in the weight of the product now. This whole like subscription services are the way to go now. Black Rifle Coffee is
correct.
It is the best coffee you can buy for the price that is a mid to high grade coffee. Period. There's no fucking debating that at this point. Dollar Shave Club's the same way. They've elevated their game like crazy. That's why we brought them on.
Yo,
like
when all those products came to my house, I was like, what the fuck? I mean, they even had fucking pomade and shit. And I was like,
the whole thing. I'm using the face wash too.
Yeah.
Like they have a whole line, and they're actually going to be coming out with some fucking beard products in the next couple of months. Beard care products.
Yeah, so we're super stoked to have Dollar Shave Club on the show.
It's dollarshaveclub.com/Drinkin' Bros.
Yeah, dollarshaveclub.com/Drinkin' Bros. Dude, their shit was off the charts, man. And I was super stoked because I shave every day, pretty much.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll have a little 5 o'clock shadow if I'm having a little drinky.
Yeah.
You know, don't want to cut myself. But dollarshaveclub.com/Drinkin' Bros is on. And then last but not least.
Hold on. The best part of that deal is that you can you get a small kit, basically, that's a sample kit for all the products for $5.
For $5, yeah.
So for $5, you can fucking try out this kit. And I'm telling you, do it. Like half of our audience either shaves every single day or they have a beard like me and they like have to groom it. Either way, you're good with these products. Or you can use the hair product as well. You're going to get a sample of everything. And
Ray Cash Care, who was on the show, pulled his dick out, freshly shorn, dick and balls.
Yeah.
So he uses Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
That was the second time I've seen a dick on this show last episode. That was
First
one of our
time
faves.
the camera saw a dick, though.
Yeah. Which is true.
And actually, for the audience, Bert had a question about that.
About how like, small the size of his head was to cover up that dick in the video.
He was like, why didn't you have to use a bigger picture of me to cover up Ray's dick? Look, I don't know. I was sitting here, forced perspective. It looked all right to me, but
you were also 3 inches away from his dick.
Yeah, and I was panicking too. So,
yeah. You couldn't see it in his eyes, but
no.
he was definitely panic at the disco.
Drinkin' Bros. dollarshaveclub.com/Drinkin' Bros.
/Drinkin'
Check
Bros.
this shit out.
Last but not least is You know, it's the boner pill.
Yeah. Look,
Roman.
If you're going to spend that time shaving up your dick, balls, and taint, you're going to want – and look, everybody's got taint here. I don't know what Josh Wolf was talking – I don't know if you guys saw that video on YouTube, Josh Wolf. That episode is funny as fuck.
It's great.
And it's even funnier. If you listen to the audio show, go back and watch the YouTube because seeing him laugh, he's such a funny guy.
Fucking hilarious.
I love that dude. At any rate, everybody's got hair on their taint except for him, apparently. I don't know what his fucking deal is. It's probably from friction, too much taint friction.
Could be.
Maybe from banging because he's, swallowing all that Roman.
Who knows? At GetRoman.com /Drinkin Bros. That's where you can get your boner pills.
Stay lit.
I'm gonna be real. I don't even have erectile dysfunction. I just take them for fun. I popped down to New Orleans with the wife and took a couple of those guys and just let loose.
Yeah, I mean,
for a couple days. It's nice just to go, especially if you're married, just to go like you can't anymore. Where there's just nothing left in your balls. You're taking a rolling pin to your ball sack to squeeze out every ounce.
Yeah, it's like these days if you're not on, like, go find your nearest anti-aging clinic if you're a dude and get on a testosterone supplement. It's legal. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And it'll make you feel like you're 25 years old again. And this pill, which is cheap as shit, by the way.
I know.
Comes in discreet packaging. No one will ever know what it is. Makes your dick feel like it's 20. Can you imagine
having a 25-year-old dick back?
With your current salary, now you're getting a little gray hair, which women apparently love. I don't know why. But
daddies
they're
has become
into
a
it.
thing.
So now you're in your peak time for getting pussy. If you can transform your body back into that peak smashing pussy body, then you're fucking at peak level all around.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
No, for sure. I know why the daddy thing is in, by the way, with a little bit of gray. Because you got millennials who are fucking dating right now. They don't have any cash. They don't want to work. And I think younger women realize how fucking lazy they are. Therefore, they're like, you know what, man? Do I really want to date somebody my own age or just bump it up 10 to 15 years and get paid for it?
I think, honestly, back in the day, and these were younger ages, but dudes would get married at like 20 to 25 years old, and they would be marrying 14 to 17-year-old women, right? Back in like 200 years ago. And I think it's coming back now. It's just like now it's
not 14 to 17.
No, but it's guys in their like mid to late 30s are marrying women in their mid to late 20s. Yeah, that's just how it is now. I think it matches up. Women mature socially faster than dudes do.
They do.
That's just how it is.
Yep.
Because we're idiots.
No, and again, look, my nonprofit is Fathers Without Boundaries, where I mentor young sorority girls from 20 to 22.
Didn't Robert California do that on The Office?
I don't know. Your knowledge of sitcom history and stand-up comedians is unparalleled. But let's get to the hot topics of the day. Sources say that Damian Lillard and DeMar DeRozan back out of Team USA for this FIBA bullshit fucking World Cup basketball.
Does anybody even watch that?
No.
Like, the only thing it's good for is to see how that European talent stacks up against NBA guys.
That's it.
And then, because I honestly think back in the day, in the late 90s and then through the 2000s, that legitimized that, and Dirk Nowitzki legitimized the European player and the American game, for sure. And it also added a lot of stuff. It added like different moves like the Euro step and all kinds of other bullshit.
Yeah.
And it brought back cut passing back to the game where it had gone away and favored the dunk for a while. So we're seeing the best basketball ever now, but I think it's past. Like, that's no longer necessary. We know that Europe produces great basketball players now. We don't need this tournament to prove that anymore. Look, if they want to take the best, if they want to take the fucking Toronto Raptors as is or as was during the finals and play the champions of other European leagues, like how the fucking
soccer does it
like
overseas,
a UEFA Cup and shit like that. That would be interesting to see that. But having national teams play against each other is boring as fuck. I don't know why anybody would risk injury for this.
No, and especially Damian Lillard, who they threw at the top of this headline. Look, Damian Lillard just signed a $200 million deal.
Yeah.
If I'm the owner of the Portland Trailblazers, and I'm his management team, I say you sit the fuck out of that, bro, because I just backed up the truck and gave you $200 million for you to play in a meaningless tournament where you can get some, shitty gold medal necklace at the end of it. That's the only thing that you get, because it's not a gold medal from the Olympics.
No.
Let's face it. So if you're going out there and you're going to put your ass on the line for Team USA, and they're calling this Team USA, don't do it at the World Cup in China, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
Do it for the Olympics.
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. I mean, what's the how could it possibly benefit you? Unless it's the Olympics. Fuck
And
that.
look, DeMar DeRozan's out. Big surprise. No, he's
Why?
not. And then they said they're still waiting on an answer from Kevin Love. What? Why would you be waiting on an answer from Kevin Love for this team? Like,
is Kevin Love gonna? Where does he play now?
that's the greatest question that's been
Because
posed to me in
J.R.
a
Smith
long
got
time.
waived basically.
Yeah, he's out of there.
And how long is Kevin? Kevin Love is still a good player.
He's great. He's the only one left there, but he's getting up there in age. If I were Cleveland, I'm sure he's getting shipped out of there soon.
They could get some picks for him for sure.
Yeah. So they said there's several players that are lined up to take the vacant spots. Marcus Smart, meh. Jaylen Brown, D'Angelo Russell, and Julius Randle. Look, D'Angelo Russell, another guy who just signed a $117 million 3-year deal with Golden State. If I'm Golden State, I say don't fucking play in that bullshit.
Especially with the fucking injuries they've had recently.
Yeah. Why risk it?
I wonder if these guys have these conversations and talk to each other about that because I don't think the ownership has any say over whether or not they play or not, unless it's specifically in your contract. I don't think the CBA allows them to say you can't play in other tournaments globally.
They can suggest it, but those contracts are pretty thick and pretty intense. You know, a lot of it, the clauses that are in there are mostly other sports.
Yeah.
And then motorcycles is a big one, obviously for obvious reasons. Yep. But basketball-related activity, I believe, is cleared in these contracts because technically you're working out and you're, improving upon your craft.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm an owner of a team in the NBA, I don't let any of my players play on these teams. No. The Olympics is the only thing that I would allow because you're playing with the best of the best. And if you're playing with those guys all summer, congratulations. Playing with Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown all summer, that's not going to improve your game.
No, it's really not. I mean, aside from just getting reps. So I wonder if these guys talk to each other about that stuff and collectively decide, like, hey, we're not going to fucking do this.
Yeah, of course.
And I wonder, I think it's important for athletes to do that kind of stuff, to have groups of people around them, whether they're other athletes or not, that are giving them good advice. I wonder who is giving someone like OBJ advice, for example. This past week, he's been talking all this shit about how the Giants were disrespecting him and blah, blah, blah. Look, we all have thoughts all the time, and I think it would be good for players, especially young players, to have a group of people around them, not necessarily for business shit, but to bounce their ideas off before they start talking about it in public. Like maybe if Kyrie Irving had a tight-knit group of friends who said, hey, you know what? The earth is round, bro.
Yeah.
None of that shit would have ever happened.
Maybe don't take that flat earth shit public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, hey, that's something to talk about. Like, we can joke about it behind the scenes, but if you're going to talk about it in public, make it very clear
Exactly.
that it's a joke. And I don't know if OBJ has a dedicated publicist. Usually they use the teams, or the agent has a publicist that works for them.
Right.
But whoever is controlling his public messaging is failing him.
Well,
because he just looks like an asshole now.
He's big on his brand, and
that's fine.
He's
dude.
Look,
so is LeBron, but LeBron doesn't do stupid shit like that.
OBJ is a brand of one. I don't think he fucking cares which team he's on. By throwing the Giants under the bus and saying that he was improving the Giants brand, you're talking about the fucking New York Giants. And I'm going to be real. You got a kid in the backfield, Saquon Barkley, who could be the true face of that franchise.
Oh, he is
for
already.
The next 10 years.
He is right now.
And everybody in the locker room said that he's already become the de facto leader of that team.
Yeah.
That's the face of that franchise in the brand, bro. Not OBJ. We'll get to our football picks, our NFL picks next month, but the Browns are going to factor into this, and that asshole is going to be on my list of why I think the Browns are not going to get that 10.5 win over this year on mybookie.com. But again, I'll save that for 2 weeks. But every time I hear this motherfucker speak, I think to myself, you ungrateful motherfucker, you're playing a game 16 days out of the year. That's it.
Yeah.
You have 16 games. Because the Giants didn't make the fucking playoffs last year. He sat out after game 12 with a fake quad injury.
Yep.
And I know it was fake.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely. I mean, just from people we know in the league.
And again, I know I've said this on a couple other shows, and this isn't to name drop, but I got invited to a dinner with that motherfucker the day before he was supposed to play. I think it was week 16 or week 17.
Yeah.
And it was like, where are you, bro? Why are you not out there with your team? I know the Giants were shitty.
Yeah.
But you're on a max deal of, what was it, $128 million or whatever it was. So, look, I know a lot of Giants fans are pissed off that they shipped him out, but after he keeps yapping his fucking trap like this, maybe it wasn't that bad of a decision after all. Because if he's not getting the ball enough in Cleveland, what do you think is going to happen?
Got some breaking news right here.
Wow.
Breaking news.
Fire away.
Zion just signed with Jordan and not Nike.
What do you mean with Jordan?
Like the Jordan brand.
Is the Jordan brand not under Nike?
Technically it is, yes.
Okay.
But there's a distinction between the two.
Is there really? What
It's like the difference between fucking Banana Republic and Gap, I guess. So it's not that different, but it is different in so far as who they push. Like the Jordan brand doesn't have the swoosh on it.
No shit. I was unaware of that.
I don't think it does. Let me look.
Yeah.
It has the Jumpman logo, not the swoosh, right?
Yeah,
which I think matters.
I'm not a sneakerhead. Are you?
No, I mean we had
one on the show on Ross Patterson Revolution.
Yeah, what was his name? Yeezy Busta.
Yeah.
He's actually a really cool guy.
Really cool guy. I don't get into
too.
the brands and all that other shit. Like, to me, look, the best shoes ever made sneaker wise are those black Jordans from the late 80s.
You think so?
Yeah, or those Bo Jackson cross trainers, brother. Come on.
The Air Max with the X on.
Yeah.
Those I actually had those.
So did I.
And people at my church back then called me Malcolm because of Malcolm X. They all thought it was super funny. And then some of the older white racist people got upset that they were calling me Malcolm. Like, what are you saying? He's black? Strom Thurmond was on the board of my church.
Was he really?
Yeah, I think
that's funny.
Notoriously ran on the segregationist ticket.
Oh yeah, he
in
did.
1948.
He was in the Senate for what 800 years.
Yeah, he was like 93 when
it was
he
crazy
died,
when he finally bounced out of there. But yeah, look, those black Jordans were fine. Because look, I've been a fan of Kobe and all those guys. Kobe, always had a line of shoes.
Yep.
None of those ever got my dick hard. Shaq's had some shoes. As a child, Magic Johnson's Converse were the jam. Because you picked a side then. You either had those yellow and purple ones or you had the green and white ones for Converse. Like, to me, the rest of this shit is just okay. There hasn't been a shoe that I've gone out and been like, oh man, I'm gonna tear my dick off for this.
Yeah.
So for Zion, it is what it is.
Well, they didn't release the details, but I'm guessing that's a $200 to $300 million deal, probably.
Probably, and they also probably gave him an extra 50 after he blew out the shoe in that Duke game and said, "Hey, sorry about ruining the rest of your college, bud."
Yeah. More breaking news: Tyreek Hill, that whole situation is done.
Done. Yes. So he's going to play the full.
So we're looking
season.
at a season of him.
Yep.
Sammy Watkins.
And Pat Mahomes again. And that, by the way, that's going to change the impact of the over-under win total in Vegas for me. That's also going to change my fantasy football strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had him last year. I told everybody to draft him and Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I won everybody who did it, won every league that
I honestly
there was.
think Pat Mahomes is one of our rule is don't draft a quarterback until
past the third round.
In rounds 3 to 7 are where you're looking for a quarterback.
If you're going to go up and get one, though, it's probably him.
I think Pat Mahomes is worth a first-round pick, honestly.
Yes. With Tyreek Hill playing. If he wasn't playing, I would say no, but possibly late end of the first. We'll see.
Like if you're in that cyclic league where you have the last pick and then you have the first pick in the second round, I take a running back and then Mahomes.
Possibly. If you can bookend it. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be on the hype train. And I think Mahomes goes top 5 in most normal people leagues, around the country, easily. And I think he's gone by then.
Maybe, yeah.
Kind of like when that Aaron Rodgers fad went around where everybody was drafting him top 5.
Yeah. This isn't our preview week, but Baker Mayfield in the first 3 rounds, yes or no?
No, absolutely
really?
not. Nope. And next week, we're doing a mock draft live on air. So that way we can go through all these picks and why.
He's got some weapons.
He's got some weapons, but he's also in his sophomore season.
He is, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of game tape on him, and they did not have that last year.
He's got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
Yeah, so you can hand off the ball a lot.
But they both catch passes really well, too, in the flat.
They do, but look.
And he's got OBJ.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, dude, running the ball. I mean,
oh, yeah.
They're stacked. We'll get into it. I might predict a little injury for Baker Mayfield this year. Collarbone. Cleveland fans are not going to be happy with some of my picks this year.
No, they're never happy. Well, they live in a constant state of cognitive dissonance anyways.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Also, we're going to be Ohio's not too far away from South Bend. Is that where Kalen Catrone lives? Can we just stop by and slap the shit out of him?
Notre Dame. A lot of people have asked us to go to that Notre Dame Georgia game.
It's in Notre Dame?
No, it's at Georgia.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, it's close. We got to check the dates. It might be right around when the cruise is. But the other story is, look, I'm a big boxing fan.
Yeah.
Love MMA. I want to talk about this welterweight, Maxim Dadashev, that died on Friday night, because I was watching the fight. It was on normal ESPN. It wasn't pay-per-view or anything. ESPN has been doing Friday night fights for a long time. And if you're a junkie, like just an absolute sports junkie like myself, I will always just keep it on in the background. I know you're a big MLB guy, where every time I come over to your house, there's some form of MLB package on.
MLB TV, I've got the whole thing, and there's always some baseball
all day long. You've got it on, and I'm like you. But Friday night fights, I just leave on in the background, and I'm good to go. I was watching this fight, and he just passed away this morning, and I was really, really surprised by this, because I saw the knockout. I saw what was going on. He was on his feet.
He was on his feet, but his trainer apparently was pleading with him to let him throw in the towel.
Yes.
Because he was getting fucking wrecked.
Correct. But he was able to walk out of the ring and walk back to the dressing room, albeit very fast. But it wasn't like they carried him out on a stretcher. When shit like this happens, man, it is absolute insanity to me. And it just reminds you of how brutal this sport is. And I was really, really shocked by that. I was like, what? Because I saw that he was in the hospital, which is normal. A lot of these MMA fights and a lot of these boxing matches, what they don't show you is a lot of these guys just go straight to the hospital afterwards just to get a checkup.
And a lot of them are actually in the same room together getting checked out. Like you see a lot of those. They're checking on each other because nobody wants to fucking kill anybody. Although Masvidal may have wanted to kill that.
And Deontay Wilder said he wants to catch a body on his record by the time it's all over. And I'm sure they're going to bring that up after this today.
Yeah, you're going to have to be more careful about what you say now, because I think the IBF and some of the other organizations there are going to start finding people for saying shit like that. Because it's about the reputation of the organization at that point. But it is combat sports, and you know that if you're going to let somebody punch you in the head a bunch of times, that is a risk that you take. Like that's something that people forget about. This is a dangerous fucking sport.
Yeah, and his trainer just made a statement. He said, look, he did everything right in training. No problems, no nothing. Obviously, my mind is running really crazy right now. Like, what could we have done differently? But at the end of the day, everything was fine in training. He seemed okay. He was ready to fight, but that's the sport we're in, and it just takes one punch. And that's true of boxing, MMA. And then, in some instances, rare instances in football, it's the same way. You're one hit away from either death or your career being over.
Yeah.
And, I hate to see it, but again, I'm surprised to hear this news, because I was watching the fight, and yes, he was getting pummeled, and it should have been stopped and all that other stuff. And it ended, but I saw him walk out of the ring and into the dressing room.
Yeah.
That was live on television. So really, really surprised by this news. And that sucks to hear.
For people who have been paying attention the last couple of years with the movie Concussion and just the research on traumatic brain injury and CTE and shit like that, that the real danger is when you have multiple concussions in rapid succession, like over the course of a couple of days or in one fight. Like chances are he had 3 concussions in that fight, from what I could tell. And Justin has talked about this on the show before, but it's not necessarily the hard hits that get you, but it's the unexpected whipping of the neck that rattles your brain around. Like your body's not prepared to absorb that shock. There were a couple of fights this past weekend at San Antonio. Guy caught a good right hand, but he was fine, wobbled a little bit. And then the second one basically like grazed his cheek and nose right here, but he collapsed.
Yeah.
And it's because he didn't see it coming. It just whipped his head really fast like that.
Yeah.
Those are the fucking dangerous ones.
Oh, yeah.
They really are, because they bang your brain into the side of your head. Man, you never know. You just don't know what's going to happen there.
No, man. That's sad news to hear. But, yeah, I can't believe it reading it, because, again, watching the fights, I thought he was okay, at least leaving the ring, man. I've seen some other ones where they're carted off on a stretcher or whatever, and, you hate to hear it, but fuck, man, it's a brutal sport, like his trainer said. I want to talk about the British Open that happened this weekend.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Shane Lowry. Irishman, first time in, 68 years that the tournament had been in Ireland or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
And an Irishman won.
A guy
I want to go into your pick.
He missed the cut 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Before that, too.
I want to go into your pick, Roy McIlroy.
That was one of my picks. I said it would be him or Brooks Koepka, although I don't think Koepka finished.
He finished fourth. So
yeah,
Koepka was right there.
But he was like 6 or 7 shots back, I think.
Yeah, going into the final round.
Yeah.
He looked good. He's only one of 4 people after this to finish all 4 majors of the year in the top 5.
McIlroy did not look good.
Yeah, he tried to make a comeback in the second round, and he finished one shot behind the cut. He ended up shooting like a 64.
Yeah, he had a great second round, but he had, what was he, like 8 over in the first or something like that?
Yeah,
it was really bad.
It was awful.
But worse than that, I think, was Tiger Woods. Not necessarily his performance. His performance was bad, but the way he left, he literally said, I just want to go home.
Just want to go home.
Like, I think he might be done.
I don't think he's done. I think the days of him competing at a high level.
Yeah.
To me, he looks like a 10 to 12 tournament a year type of guy.
Yeah.
Trying to put a lot into one major. I think probably his mental mindset at this point, because if you saw that exit interview when he left the British Open, it was so brutal that I wondered if he's not just trying to, for the next 5 years, 5 to 7 years, right? Because that'll put him at around 50 at that point. Let's say it's 7 years. That'll put him at 50. If he's not just saying, hey, man, if I can squeeze out 2 more majors out of the next 7 years, how do I save my body to squeeze out 2 to 3 more majors, possibly try to get, either tie or break Jack Nicklaus's record? Is that possible, knowing that Jack Nicklaus did win a major at age 46?
Yeah.
This is what it seems like to me. The days where you see him in your local fucking club down the block are probably over at this point. I say he probably goes all in on the Masters every year, because that's still a tournament he can have a shot in. Some of these longer courses where you're up against Koepka and the boys, I think he's out of. But I think he's mentally and physically preparing for the next 7 to 8 years. How do I win 2 or 3 more majors, and that's it? I don't think he really gives a shit about these other tournaments, and I think these other tournaments will just become practice rounds, trying to get 1 or 2 more wins, because he's only, a handful of wins away from breaking the all-time wins record, and then he's only 3 majors away from Jack's record, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 15, Jack's got 18, and then they both Jack actually had 2 amateur, and Tiger had 1 amateur, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So, or he had 2 amateur as well, but they're close. I mean, three majors, that sounds like a lot for 3 years. Like, you'd have to win a major a year for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
To match, because 86 was the last year that Jack won. That was his 40. He was 46. He won the Masters. Man, I don't see it. Tiger's only 1 behind the career wins list, though.
Yeah, so look,
like he could take, he'll probably
2 more wins. I think he'll probably do that, and I think he'll be the all-time wins leader. Masters is going to be tough, and it's strange because when I was watching the Masters and that amazing comeback, I thought he was back, and to me, and I believe I said this on the show, was I tacked on another major after that.
Do you think that was like the Jordan flu game or something, where he was just inspired for some reason and played out of his mind?
The Jordan flu game, he was in his prime. Right? Tiger is definitely not in his prime anymore. He was able to turn back the clock and win 1 more major. And when I saw that, I personally thought that he would have a really good shot at breaking Jack's record. Seeing the rest of this year play out the way it has, I don't think he is. And man, that was really almost heartbreaking to watch.
It was rough, man. It really was.
Because even his training schedule, where he was just like, look, the travel's become too much. After the U.S. Open, he took his family to Thailand. Hey, bro, why are you taking your family to Thailand after the U.S. Open? You still have half the season left at that point.
Yeah.
You should be prepping for the rest of the year, not going on a family vacay to Thailand, jet lag, all the shit he's on. I mean, even on a private jet, right?
That's a long flight. It's 18 hours, right?
Long flight on a private jet. Let's face it, he doesn't have a ghost bed from ghostbed.com /Drinkin Bros in there to do it on. So I don't know, man. I don't know what his thinking is at this point, but to me, it's not good. And I think it's going to be a struggle to win one more major, let alone 2 to 3. But I think that's mentally probably what he's preparing himself for.
Yeah.
So
maybe. I mean, I would love to see him win it. I think the PGA would love to see him win it. If he wins 2 more majors and he's one behind Jack, the PGA is gonna for every major he plays, they're gonna see the highest TV ratings that they've ever seen in history for each one of those.
Absolutely.
So that would be great for the sport. Honestly, breaking records is always great for the sport. Even Bonds, when he was chasing Hank Aaron, with all the tarnish on him at the time, it was still like it was exciting. Every single time he came to the plate, like ESPN, no matter what they were playing, would switch to that. No matter what time of day it was, they would show his at bats.
They would. I
insane.
feel like they almost felt obligated because they had to. Like all of us knew he was on steroids, obviously. To me, I had checked out of Bonds' chase.
Yeah.
I had checked out of A-Rod's chase as well. Me personally.
A-Rod was on the broadcast for the Braves Nationals game, 2 nights ago, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's ESPN.
On ESPN, yeah. And he was like talking about his chase for 7. He's like, yeah, I really thought I was going to get to 700. Like, dude, just shut the fuck up, man. Yeah. Like, nobody I don't. He's a smart guy about baseball, obviously. Like, no matter.
He is.
Like,
he's extremely knowledgeable. He's just a fucking dick.
Yeah. If you or I took steroids and HGH and tried to go play Major League Baseball right now, we would not be able to do it.
No.
There's just no way. Like, you still have to be an amazing athlete no matter what.
Absolutely.
And the hand-eye coordination stuff. But, yeah, those guys have no self-awareness at all.
A-Rod in particular has zero self-awareness. And, his whole shit with J-Lo, like, they're perfect together. Those 2 fame chasers are the perfect fucking shitstorm to be together. But to me, like, A-Rod was such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All through his career.
How was he in the clubhouse?
How many times did he get popped for steroids? 2, right?
2 times, yeah.
2 times. One of them was like a 2-year ban. And then he came back and said, I'm going to play 1 more year because I'm under contract.
Yeah.
And there was that whole fuckery that went back and forth.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees ended up having to pay him off and then keep him on the tab for some type of special advisor.
Yeah, something like that. Speaking of special advisors, Tim Duncan is now an assistant coach with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
Love Tim Duncan.
Yeah. You're a big you remind me of Tim Duncan.
We have the
Quiet
same
assassin.
personality, yeah.
Yeah.
All he's been doing for the last 10 years is hunting in South Texas. That's it.
Oh, is that true?
Yes. All he does is roll around and hunt. He doesn't have social media, doesn't care. Actually, his son is a friend of in that friend group that Justin has. Tim Duncan's kid is one of those guys.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's funny. That reminds me of Karl Malone. Karl Malone just kind of disappeared.
Karl Malone
too,
actually owns a 511 Tactical in Utah that sells.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they sell Black Rifle coffee.
That's
He
great.
owns a 511 franchise, and he has a dealer relationship with Black Rifle Coffee. Nobody knows that.
That's amazing.
He's
go and
an
support
amateur
that.
fucking truck driver.
Oh yeah.
He and his wife are cool as shit though. They're very for somebody that's been famous as fuck, especially in Utah. He's maybe the most well-known person in Utah for years, since the fucking late 80s.
Yeah.
He's the most salt of the earth dude ever.
Yeah,
Walks around
everybody
in a
says
fucking
that
trucker hat and
that
shit.
dude's
all
a
the
real
time.
motherfucker,
Yeah.
man.
And he's also a giant human being, so it's you see this dude that's super nice and down to earth, but he's this massive human being. You're like, oh shit.
Oh,
Too
shit.
Bad, too bad you never won a title, guy.
Yeah, I know. He
I feel
tried
bad
though with
for
the
him.
Lakers that last year.
I thought they were gonna do it. Him and Gary Payton.
I
man.
did too. That
Ugh.
team just got smoked by youth in that series. I think it was
Yeah.
Detroit that nuked them in that one.
What was that? 03?
Yeah. It was the mask.
Yeah.
Hamilton. Rip Hamilton was the point guard of
Hamilton.
Detroit. The last thing I want to talk about on today's show is the Robo-umpires, dude. We're here. The robots have taken over. What's your thought on this? Because there was another article that popped up that said, hey, coaches could soon be replaced by algorithms for certain sports.
That's never going to happen for the same reason that we'll never have an all-drone Air Force, because human decision-making is superior. Like human creativity, thinking outside the box and stuff like that. Like, remember, God, what's his name? The old bench coach for the Braves. When Bobby Cox was the coach.
Man.
Not Leo Mazzoni, not the pitching coach, the bench. Anyways.
Digging back.
He's a Latino guy. I can't remember his name, but he handled field positioning for the Braves. He was ahead of his time in like shifts and stuff like that. And look, numbers are numbers, but it still takes mathematicians to do math. And that's what a coach is now, for lack of a better phrase. He's a guy he's on the application end of the technology at this point. So he's the guy pushing buttons. And then again, there's intuition. Like, yeah, maybe what the computer doesn't know is that pitcher X is having some problems in his personal life right now.
Right.
Or he has a history with this guy, like a personal history with this guy that might make him better against him and make him more focused. A computer's never going to know shit like that. You can't program for stuff like that.
No, and I think the robo-ump thing to me is sad, because that was part of the game. It's part of the game as a kid too, coming up, where you knew certain umpires, even in Little League, would call either high strikes or inside pitches or whatever. Like, that was part of the fun of it, and then crafting a game plan around that, especially in the major leagues as well, right?
Yeah.
So when you have this robo-ump shit, because it says it's going to continue this year in the Atlantic League and the minor leagues.
Yep.
Once you eliminate that out of the equation, the only time I've seen it work is tennis. And in particular, like if you watch this last Wimbledon.
But that's just that's much simpler.
Correct.
That's an actual physical ball hitting a physical point on the ground, and you can tell.
Line, yes.
Yeah, that's way different
Than a strike zone.
Yeah.
So to me,
especially strike zone, it's individual to every single player that comes up. Like the strike zone it's not 18 inches off the ground to 40 inches off the ground. It's knees to fucking tits.
Right.
That's what the rule book says. It says knees to the middle of the chest.
So to me, having this robo-umpire shit is it sucks, man. I hate to see it, me personally. We've had a lot of people write in and ask what our opinions are on it. All of this shit with robots. Like, look, if you want to see robots out in the field, you might as well put a whole goddamn team of robots just to actually play for you too.
Yeah.
It's called a video game.
So
you can go and play that.
This isn't even the most interesting new thing that they're testing out in the minors right now. They're testing out something called stealing first base. Have you seen this?
No.
So it's an 0 count, first pitch of the at-bat. And a guy throws a wild pitch. Usually it would just like go to the backstop, and a ball boy would get it, and then he would come back. They would get a new ball, and then now it's a 1-0 count.
Sure.
So this new rule change that they're considering is you throw a wild pitch with nobody on base, and homeboy can just run to first base. If he makes it, he's stolen first base.
No, I don't want to see that either. That sounds awful.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like who does that benefit?
I don't know.
It takes like 10 seconds for the fucking ball boy to go grab that ball and you to throw the pitcher a new ball, and just like I don't even know where this idea came from.
I think Major League Baseball is reaching with a lot of these things because they're losing most of their audience to the NFL and to basketball. And I don't think there's anything you can do about it, in my opinion, because it's a slower paced game. And with everybody's fucking ADHD with all these devices and all this shit and video games and everything else, they want things faster. They want to feel like they're a part of it. You want to see people getting smashed in the face. The commercials now are even different for most sports. You take the British Open.
Yeah.
If you watch the last round of the British Open, they even divided the TV screen. So they never went to a full commercial break. You could still see what was going on the course on one side, and then the commercials on the other, just because they didn't want you to go anywhere.
I could see that for golf and tennis. Like not in the later rounds, but in the early rounds of tennis, there's like, especially Wimbledon has, 6 courts or 8 courts?
Yeah.
And they're all playing at the same time sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but usually there's like 3 or 4 active courts at the same time. I can see that for that. Running lower thirds or half screen or whatever the fuck. And golf, there's always somebody playing. From 9 a.m. until like 4 p.m.
Absolutely. And they're starting to divide up the players and the channels. Like, as you start to get up into the 500-600 block, your cable.
Silencer Smooth from Black Rifle, by the way.
Yeah. So I think they're getting there as far as that, but the robo shit, I don't want to see it.
No, there's some other changes that are interesting too. Like, there's one they're going to test that's anti-shift, so you have to have at least 2 infielders on one side of the field at all time, or when the pitch is thrown. So basically, what would happen is, my opinion, they would do a normal shift, but the shortstop and third baseman would be behind. Or right on the right side, second base, and then fucking just run over afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good rule. Is something that is enforceable, and if you can easily cheat it like that, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't make any sense.
Let's get to some of your questions on YouTube. Again, we're going to try to do this every Tuesday for the sports show, Dan and I, where we take your live questions on YouTube.
Did we post this in the sports group too?
I don't believe we did. Somebody said, I want the O.J. Simpson jersey.
You got to play for it, bitch.
Jake Hain, yes. So in our fantasy football league, the Cutthroat Killers League, if you've won 2 championships, you can try to sign up for the fantasy football league. We're giving a signed O.J. Simpson jersey away for the Cutthroat Killers League. You must have killed 2 people. And we're giving away his signed USC jersey. So that is possible. YW, what happened to everyone? Jared Taylor will be back on the show.
Yeah. Matt's on a book tour. Evan is running a fucking
$400 million coffee company. Yes. Matt is on a book tour. He'll be going to a base near you
soon. Check
very soon. Matt Best will be.
Is the book tour schedule, is it on thankyouformyservice.com?
Yeah, it is. Okay. So go to thankyouformyservice.com. You can check out his book touring schedule. I know he's coming here.
He's coming. He's going to Fort Hood. He's going to Bragg. He's going to Lejeune, I think, for sure.
One in San Diego.
Yeah.
And then one in Washington somewhere. Tacoma.
It'll be Joint Base Lewis McCord.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's where he was stationed back in the day.
That's where everybody is. Rocco is currently on the Mayans. On FX.
Yeah.
He has been for 2 seasons. If you're asking about where Rocco is, then you haven't been listening to the show. He's been on the Mayans for 2 seasons. Their season premiere is actually in September, and he was just at Comic-Con 2 days ago debuting the trailer. And they did a Q&A in Hall H, which if you haven't been to Comic-Con, that's the biggest hall there is. Ton of people out there to see Rocco.
Rocco is a good actor.
Yes.
He really is.
He's great. And the Mayans MC is fantastic. So you can check that out on FX. The new season starts very, very soon.
They have a great cast, too. I mean, they have Emilio What's-His-Nuts from the old series. They have...
Edward James Olmos is one of my faves.
He really is. He's a great actor, dude.
The best.
Battlestar Galactica is one of the best fucking sci-fi series of all time.
I'll stand and deliver, dude.
The Rookie. Well, yeah, but I said sci-fi, motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't...
The Rookie is a great movie.
Yes. Oh, look, it's Edward James Olmos. If you don't know Edward James Olmos, you're a shitbag.
Yeah.
Next up, Mike Baker, listening from Peoria, Illinois. I want to shout out. Absolutely. I was born there. I was born in Peoria, Illinois. To my knowledge, it's just me and Richard Pryor. So that's it. I'm not going to say who's better. That's up to you to decide, but I'm kidding.
And unlike Iowa, Illinois actually exists.
It does. Peoria, though, you're on the border of whether or not you're existing or not. I will say Bradley University is there. So yay to Bradley. My father is actually from there.
Justin Pope says, Florida man checking in. Justin Pope, go to the sports group and just tell us the craziest story from Florida you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Or that you've personally been involved in, maybe.
Yeah. Where'd I get my Drinkin' Bros shirt? Drinkinbros.com. It's got all the T-shirts. There's some new ones in there, and there's some patches, right?
There's a patch for the Area 51 Defender, and then there's another patch. There's 2 shirts. So there's the Area 51 Defender shirt, which is basically Jared's a fucking idiot. It's a hot dog firing a Gatling gun.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Why would it be anything else? And then long-awaited Tron Jeremy shirt is finally fucking available.
Everybody's buying that Tron
Yeah.
Jeremy shirt. That's
Yeah.
in drinkinbros.com. That one's hilarious. Jonathan Skeen, Birmingham, Alabama in the house. I don't know. Do I have to say it? Probably Roll Tide for that motherfucker. I guarantee he's a Tide
What does
fan.
that mean? Roll
I don't know
Tide?
anybody who in Alabama. Well, Auburn fans, I guess, but I think Birmingham leans towards Bama. So
I don't understand what Roll Tide means, or what's the Auburn one?
they're the Tigers. I don't know what their fucking
They
thing
say
is, but
like something. I can't remember what it is.
I don't know what the Tide is because they have an elephant as their mascot.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get chided for it.
I
in a
don't
second,
care. I don't.
but,
I mean, Penn State. Our what is our? It's a Nittany Lion.
yeah.
But we are Penn State. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Or
sense.
AOHIO. The most Ohio State fans could do is spell the name of the state they're in, which is impressive for someone from Ohio.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm not from there. I went to school there, but at least the Buckeyes are named after the actual. It is a Buckeye.
Yeah.
Riz JT coming back. His face is on the Instagram account logo. He is.
Yeah.
He is back. He'll be starting shows either this week or next. He's setting up.
Yeah, he's setting up his studio. He just got back from an extended stay in Salt Lake to shoot a bunch of content. So
for Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
He is on the show. Vapor Gold. We already answered what happens. Go Braves. Adam Dankoff. Yes, go Braves. Chop on. I hope we win the World Series this year, but I still think we're a year away. Dan, you actually believe that?
Look, if they can get a closer, I think this is their year.
Yeah.
Frankly, because nobody's got the book on Fried or Soroka yet, so they're going to be dominant in the playoffs. And then Keuchel's steady and Tehran's steady, and then that offense is fucking tough, man.
I still think we're 1 year too
Maybe.
young, but we'll see.
Maybe.
Sean Thomas says fly the W. That's for the Cubbies. Sean, I picked Yankees Cubs World Series. I'm sticking to it. Craig Dulesky, what up, y'all? Are we coming to Iowa? We're not coming to Iowa this year.
No one's ever going to Iowa.
No.
There's no reason to ever go to Iowa. In fact,
If Ohio State plays Iowa again, we'll try to make a trip out there.
to me, Iowa's like Atlantis.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. I don't think it exists.
So he says he'll book the travel for us. So when Ohio State plays Iowa at Iowa, you book the travel. We'll come out and do a fucking show there. We'll do it from your fucking house.
Yeah, well, I'm
Craig.
sleeping in your bed.
Yeah, in your bed, and then
Between
we'll
you and your
figure
girlfriend.
it out. Cowboy working man, that's a real thing. 45-year-olds here are dating 28 to 32-year-olds. I told you, man.
Yeah, that's
the
how it is.
millennial shit. That is exactly what's going on right now, and this is non-sports related, but sex is sometimes
Sex
treated
is a
like a
sport,
sport
yeah.
in my household. That's what's going on, man.
It is.
These young chicks, they don't want to be with somebody who's poor. I remember when I was poor in LA, like super fucking poor.
Yeah.
There was a smoke show that I was dating way out of my league.
Yep.
Right. At the time, for what my monetary monetary gains were at that moment in my life, that's the only reason she was out of my league. But she literally told me at one point, like, she was like, "Look, this is great. This is definitely not going anywhere because you have no money and you're a fucking loser right now." You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Great. I just moved to LA.
Yeah.
Had nothing, been in nothing, all that other stuff." And I get it. So those girls, those smoke shows are going for the daddies, and this is going to be a trend that's going to continue.
Yeah.
I think.
Good for me.
Yeah. Where the Dolphins have a shot this year with Rosen at QB.
Maybe we haven't seen what kind of QB Rosen can be yet.
Not yet. And he was playing in a terrible Arizona team
Yeah.
who got killed. The one difference between them and the Dolphins have a pretty decent defense.
Yeah.
And they got a pretty decent running back.
It takes a lot of pressure off of him.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, Arizona had a great running back. So we'll see. But
Well, they did, but he didn't do shit the last 2 years.
No, he didn't do anything. So we'll see. Who you got in the UFC fights this weekend? There's some bangers here this weekend.
Yeah, I haven't even looked.
Popping up because you and I got together and watched the Dos Anjos
Yeah.
or Dos Anjos, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know the names.
He got beat pretty soundly. Also, since we're talking about fights, I just want to talk about that Pacquiao fight. I was really surprised to see him take down Thurman on Saturday night. I thought it was gonna be a first round knockout. When he knocked him down, I was like, oh shit! But he popped back up and finished. I don't know why that was a split decision, by the way. I watched the entire fight, Pacquiao versus Thurman, and Floyd Mayweather was in the house, by the way. I don't know if he's considering trying to take on Pacquiao again for the money.
Who knows?
Because let's face it, that motherfucker is going to be bankrupt in 5 years. I think, and this is a bold statement, I think if Pacquiao fought Mayweather again, if Pacquiao was healthy, he would beat Mayweather.
Maybe. He's become a very good technical boxer. Like I was surprised to see him almost get a knockout because he doesn't
Thurman was undefeated,
Yeah.
and that fight to me wasn't that fucking close.
No.
I don't know who that judge was that gave
that
one, card to fucking Thurman, because it was not even close in that fight.
No.
But I think if you're Pacquiao right now, you're probably trying to get Floyd to come back, bait him back for
They'll
one more,
both
and if
make
he's
$100
able to
million
do it
on the fight
easily, and I think if he's able to do it, I think he wins. I think he beats Mayweather and puts a fucking L on his record. I don't think because Mayweather was ringside for that fight. I don't think Mayweather takes that fight because of that.
Probably not.
I don't
So the
see it
UFC
happening.
fight this weekend is Max Holloway and Frankie Edgar.
Yes,
And then
it's a big one.
Cyborg Spencer is also going to be a good fight.
And this is her last fight before her contract is up, I believe.
Yep. So I hope she wins, and I hope they hand her the microphone when they will.
Yeah.
I want to see what she says after she wins that fight. That's what I want to see.
Same.
I want to see our buddy John Anik or Joe hand her the mic and her to say, "Hey, you know what, Dana? Fuck you, buddy."
Yeah.
Not that I don't like Dana, but I just want to see some
Pay me.
controversy. Yeah.
Yeah. Because she'll flip over to Bellator. Bellator's paying their fighters over there. We had Ryan Bader on the show. Yeah, man, I would like to see Cyborg win and then see that happen. That Max Holloway fight's going to be fucking brutal, dude.
Do you want to hear something funny? So Masvidal fucking destroyed Askren. Obviously, the fastest knockout in UFC history.
The flying knee kick heard around the world.
And a lot of people have been asking or have been talking about Conor McGregor coming back and fighting Masvidal. And here's what Dana White said to that. To TMZ the other day. He said, hell no.
Hell no.
Masvidal is too big for Conor. There's plenty of fights for Masvidal in his weight division without Conor. He's too big for Conor. Big as in not like profile-wise, but weight-wise.
Yeah. So, look, Conor went up to 170 to fight Diaz. And, also in that TMZ interview, Dana White said, it is not that Conor doesn't have the heart or the balls.
No, he said he has the balls to do it.
Because he's got both.
Yeah.
And he did it with Diaz, Nate Diaz stepping up. But, at this point where Conor isn't fighting as frequently as he used to, no fucking way should he get in the ring against Masvidal. No way should he even attempt that.
I don't think so either. I'd be kind of interested to see that fight. I'm curious who Masvidal is going to fight next, to be honest.
Boy, that's tough, man. He's got his pick at this point. To me, after that knee to the head, by the way.
Yeah.
That put him at the top of the boards of dude, I want to see this guy fight because he's exciting as fuck. He's got a big personality, and that's what you need in sports, and we've been preaching about this forever. I think he's going to have his pick, and it's going to be up to him, but we'll see. Who do you have in this Holloway fight?
I always take Max Holloway because we share the same name. Although his is spelled differently, but no, he's that dude's tough as fuck, man.
Yeah.
I love watching him fight. He takes, and we were talking about this with the boxing thing earlier, but he takes shots and then somehow doesn't even get phased by it.
Yeah.
And then just he has these bursts where he just fucking goes crazy. I love watching him fight.
If you're on mybookie.com betting on the UFC fights, I have a hard time betting against Holloway.
Yeah.
That guy is one of the toughest SOBs out there.
He is, yeah.
And I'm a big fan. So I think he wins this weekend. I think Cyborg wins as well.
Do you think Masvidal is going to fight Khabib or what? Do you think he earned a fight against him?
Well, Khabib's got a fight lined up in October.
Yeah.
To me, Khabib's the best on the planet. Yes, I think he's earned it, but I don't know who beats Khabib right now. I mean, that guy is a fucking animal, dude. A raw animal. And I don't know who beats him right now. Masvidal would certainly take him on. If the two of them got together.
He said he would cut to fight him.
Yeah.
And but I think you should take a title shot in the fucking welterweight class first.
Khabib's the biggest payday out there.
Who's it? Usman? That's the...
Yeah. So, look, that's the biggest payday out there, though. So what do you do if you're a UFC fighter? And look, especially seeing this other guy die in the ring on Friday night in boxing. To me, make your fucking money, try to put the biggest fight you can together, and then worry about the titles afterwards, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, I think the UFC would do better if they let the fighters have more say in who they fight and negotiating terms of the fight. It's worked in boxing, like these super fights that we see, quote unquote super fights.
Right.
They're put together, and the hype is bigger because that's who the fans want to see fight. Like, people want to see Pacquiao fight Mayweather. They will pay more to watch that fight. Everybody makes more money doing that. To me, it's some weird control thing that the UFC has going on right now, and I don't think it can last, to be honest. Like, Cyborg is the first, but she won't be the last to fucking leave.
No, she won't. But you still have the cachet and the fame of the fucking UFC, and it's tough to go to Bellator when it's like, I enjoy watching the fights on Bellator, and I'm not shitting on Bellator at all. They just don't publicize it as much as the UFC, and for some reason, it still seems like the XFL, the NFL versus the XFL, where it's just like, all right, because they're putting fights together of older fighters where you're like, who is it? Chuck Liddell that was fighting Tito Ortiz in it. And it's just like, you can't be doing fights like that if you want people to take yourself seriously. What I will say though that I enjoy is that fucking bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, that's man.
God damn,
somebody's definitely gonna get killed in that.
Man, I was at Matt's house a few weeks back in San Antonio. We were watching that shit, and I was like, God damn, that's the fucking future. That was fun. Lance Brigham, what up? Jonesy8682, Jorge with a 2-piece and a soda. I don't know, but against Khabib, my man. We'll see.
Yeah, Khabib's probably the smartest fighter in the UFC. Maybe John Jones is a little smarter.
Well, John Jones outside the ring is a goddamn mess. He got arrested again for
slapping a woman in the vagina?
Slapping a woman in the vagina in a strip club or something like that?
I don't know what the fuck happened.
Fuck is with that guy?
I don't know.
It's insane, man.
I don't know.
Either way, dude, we appreciate you listening. Longest week in sports, toughest week in sports. Don't worry, football is almost here next week. Join us live on our YouTube channel, Drinkin Bros Podcast on YouTube. We'll be doing a live mock draft for all your fantasy football needs out there on the show next week, because it's high season for fantasy season.
It's time, and just keep in mind, like, look, fantasy football is the reason to pay attention during the preseason, and camps and stuff like that, because everything changes, man. Like, one guy gets an injury, and that changes that. If you have like your top 5 guys, I want these guys for sure. One of them disappears, that might change the entire outlook of your roster. Because if you think like this guy's probably going to trail off at the end of the year because his team's going to be ahead or whatever, so I'm picking up these guys on lesser teams but that have better stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then one of those lesser guys go out, can you still afford to take those top guys like Gurley and fucking Mahomes, who are Mahomes will be fine, but if it's a position or if it's a wide receiver or running back that might sit out that last game, you really got to think about that shit. A lot of people got fucked over by Gurley last year.
God, I was one of them. The only league I lost in all of Drinkin Bros was that. My family lost. It was because Gurley sat out the fucking championship game. But, last year was Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. A lot of people got boned picking him first. The story to be concerned with this year is Melvin Gordon. I could definitely see him sitting out this entire year.
If he doesn't get a contract. Very hard line.
And he should, because he's got about one. Same with Le'Veon Bell. He's got about one more big contract left in him. Yep. And that could be your Le'Veon Bell of this year, and we'll get into all of that next week. D'Anthony, it was fun as always. We appreciate your questions going live with us. We're going to try to do this every week and then answer your questions at the end of the show. For D'Anthony Holloway, I am Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros Sports Companion Show. Good afternoon and good night, everyone.